In Nickel and Dimed, I play Barbara. She's the only part that doesn't play multiple characters at once because she kind of narrates as well as is involved in all of the scenes. Barbara is the scientist journalist who originally wrote the book Nickel and Dimed based on her real life experiences, and she's a real life woman. She gives lectures places. She was going to come here, but unfortunately that didn't work out. And she went to all these different locations to try to get hired at a minimum wage job, work the job, save enough money for the next month's rent, all while, keeping her clothes clean, getting food to eat, and maintaining some semblance of a normal life. So throughout the play, you see her successes and her failures. Unfortunately, there are very many failures, and I think that's pretty eye-opening. The challenge with turning nonfiction into theater is that the purpose, I think, and the intention of the piece is very different than a play that's written by a playwright because they're an artist. This is definitely a social awareness piece. There's a lot of wiggling around that has to be done with the characters. Certainly, like Travis was saying, there's comic timing and stuff that just has to be fabricated a little bit because otherwise, you're not going to capture the audience's attention and teach them the lesson that you're hoping to teach them without entertaining them in the process. And I think that, there are elements of comedy and, I don't know, just general theatrical elements that kind of have to get sprinkled on top for it to actually be a play that people want to see. The most entertaining job that Barbara has in the show it's a toss-up because they're all pretty funny and interesting at the same time. However, in Act 2, she works for a company called Magic Maids, and there is an entire monologue and an entire scene solely based on how awful it is to scrub a toilet that does not belong to anyone that you know. It's bad enough that you don't even want to clean the toilet in your own house, and those are people that you love, and cleaning up a toilet bowl after strangers is awful. But the monologue is really funny, and I learned that going to rehearsal and pretending to scrub a toilet for 4 hours is very similar and just as tiring as actually scrubbing a toilet for 4 hours. Being a drama major at Hofstra, I have been given so many opportunities, and it's wonderful. I'm so grateful for it. I'm a junior, so I've only had a year prior to this that I've been active in the department in terms of drama department productions. So fall semester of my sophomore year, I was in a play called Electricidad by Luis Alfaro. I played Ifigenia. She was a chola. And then spring semester, I was in The Ghost Sonata. It was directed by Ed Eleftherian, and I played the mummy, which was this woman who basically lost her mind because of all the tragedies that happened in her life and shut herself in a closet and talked like a parrot. The opportunities here are endless. There are clubs outside of the department that, I've done a lot of work with the Spectrum Players and Masquerade Musical Theater Company, and it's wonderful to always be able to work. I think that after having seen Nickel and Dimed, I would hope that the audience, there are a lot of cold, hard facts in the show, you know what I mean? And that's something that you can't avoid. If you see the show, you're going to hear the facts, and that's very jarring. But I think something that I've learned from it, and I hope that the audience will learn as well, are just the way that these people who actually have to work these jobs every single day somehow find a way to be hopeful and to be positive and to find ways to live their lives even though they're struggling. And it's just so important to the way that you treat other human beings. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned, seeing the relationships and thinking about every time you go into a restaurant, how polite are you and how grateful are you and how much do you appreciate what these people are doing, because we all should more, I think.